Welcome back to ZNGP Today. After a tumble of transfer chatter linking him to VR46/Ducati, Pedro Acosta has pushed back, saying he's focused on KTM and calmer about his future after an encouraging run of form. The young Spaniard leaves the summer break buoyed by a double podium at Brno and ready to help KTM close the gap as the season resumes at the Red Bull Ring. Fabio Quartararo has long been MotoGP's one-lap wizard, and he explains why. A rare ability to switch his mind off at the crucial moment and ride like a sane madman. Yet, while the Frenchman can still produce electric pole laps, Yamaha's deeper race package problems, especially lack of grip and braking help, mean his qualifying magic hasn't translated into consistent race results. Marquez's 2025 charge reads like a throwback to his peak years. A run of near-total dominance that's not only blowing rivals away this season but also nudging him closer to the historical greats. Riding the Ducati GP25, the 32-year-old has piled up results, stats and headlines, streaks of maximum points on consecutive weekends, an enormous championship lead, and talk that he could equal Valentino Rossi's tally of premier-class titles if this form continues. After a promising comeback at Brno, reigning champion Jorge Martin heads to Austria confident and fitter than before. Martin says the intense summer work paid off and that he's better prepared for the Red Bull Ring, a track that will test throttle control and braking as he continues rebuilding race rhythm on the Aprilia RSGP. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Acosta's strong weekend in the Czech Republic, second in the sprint and third in the Grand Prix, did more than score points. It dented talk that he'd leave KTM at the end of 2025. Those early season transfer whispers, which linked him to a move to VR46 Racing Team, have cooled as Acosta and KTM show signs of steady progress. "I'm quite happy where I am," Acosta's statement. That line is as clear as it gets. The rider who's still learning on the RC16 wants to be judged by his work and the bike, not by speculation. Acosta admits KTM hasn't hit the preseason dream targets, calling parts of 2025 a hole, or tunnel. Yet the Brno results are evidence the team is digging out, not surrendering. Improved confidence, setup gains, and stronger racercraft underpin his renewed optimism. He accepts hardship as part of growth. Every sportsman needs hard moments to become stronger. The theme is maturity. Acosta treats adversity as a learning curve rather than a transfer trigger. Both rider and factory are working, Acosta on precision and KTM on development. He hinted that technical updates might arrive for the Austrian round at the Red Bull Ring, KTM's home race, and is banking on those upgrades to keep momentum building. "We are pushing each other every day. I think KTM will push to bring something new before the Red Bull Ring." If the factory brings parts and Acosta tightens his package, he expects the results to follow. Acosta didn't sign a contract announcement or rule out future moves. He stayed pragmatic. "Who knows what will happen in the future?" he said, then underlined the only plan that matters: ride fast and give 100%. That blend of realism and focus keeps options open while signaling loyalty in the short term. He's earned KTM's trust with his work, not headlines. Key things to monitor at the Red Bull Ring: whether KTM brings the teased upgrades, how Acosta adapts, the circuit rewards drive out of slow corners, and whether the pair can convert development into consistent top 5 finishes. If Brno was the spark, Austria will show whether it's a flicker or a fire. Pedro Acosta's message is simple and steady. He's not jumping ship right now. With form returning and KTM promising development, the young Spaniard wants to grow inside the RC16, tougher, sharper and faster. Transfer talk may resurface in the paddock's rumor mill, but for now Acosta's priority is clear: ride, improve, repeat. Quartararo says decades of riding have taught him to live with crashes. He estimates some 150 spills since childhood, and that repeated exposure has hardened his nerves for time attack scenarios. "I suppose about 150, but maybe more. You go out again, and you go out." Quartararo's statement. Those early scars, he believes, are the price of building the mental steel needed to push to the absolute edge for one perfect lap. The Frenchman describes the qualifying ritual: nerves on the outlap, then an instant switch as he approaches the final corner before the flying lap. The anxiety evaporates and ultra-focus kicks in. "Fear? When I'm here, and more so in qualifying, which is my strong point, my brain shuts down. I disconnected it." That state explains spectacular stat lines: 6 rookie poles in 2019 and 14 more since, including 4 in the current season, and why he's still a threat every Saturday. Despite pole prowess, Quartararo has repeatedly struggled to convert that grid advantage into race-winning form. The M1's weaknesses: poor rear grip and limited engine/braking synergy compared to rivals, blunt his ability to hold position and string together long runs. Where he can be a sane madman for a lap, the bike and race conditions demand sustained balance and tire management over 20 to 30 laps, areas where Yamaha still trails. Yamaha's ambitious development route, including an experimental V4 project, offers a potential pathway back to the front. But Quartararo admits that any hardware fix will take time and won't instantly cure the season's immediate headaches. The V4 could change the M1's character in future seasons, but it's not a silver bullet for the here and now. Quartararo's future with Yamaha hinges on meaningful progress. The brand knows its star's patience has limits. Quartararo's colorful self-description captures the paradox that makes him so watchable, clinical and calculated on one lap, driven and vulnerable on another. The image of him stepping off a blistering flying lap and realizing he's crazy cuts to the heart of high-speed motorcycling's psychological gamble. When you're done, you realize you're crazy, but a sane madman. That blend of raw courage and technical precision is why teams and fans still revere him, and why Yamaha must act fast to keep him. Fabio Quartararo's qualifying alchemy remains one of MotoGP's purest spectacles, a rider who can flip a switch and extract the absolute best from a single lap. But until Yamaha addresses the M1's deeper race issues, that brilliance will keep being a dazzling weekend highlight rather than the foundation for a consistent title bid. The V4 project offers promise, but for now the challenge is simple: turn Saturday's magic into Sunday points. Marquez has been almost faultless in 2025, multiple perfect weekends, 5 straight weekends of 37 points at one stage, a string of victories and an ever-growing points cushion. The result is a championship situation that, while not mathematically done, feels increasingly inevitable. That combination of consistency and pace makes this run one of the most dominant mid-season displays we've seen in modern MotoGP. The piece draws a line back to 2019, Marquez's last title year with Honda, where he won 12 races and finished with a monumental 151-point margin. The article notes the 2019 season's staggering share of available points, about 88.5%, and suggests Marquez's 2025 haul sits in a comparable realm, around 86% after 12 rounds, a modern echo of past superiority. Comparisons are also made to the dominant seasons of Stoner, Lorenzo and Rossi, placing Marquez's current form in elite historical company. What makes 2025 striking is the context. Marquez is 32, returning from serious injury in 2020, and now mastering a Ducati that in some ways rewards different strengths than his old Honda did. The narrative emphasizes that he's not just fast, he's adapted, evolved and found new dominance on a bike that many others still struggle to exploit. That combination of recovery, evolution and results strengthens the case that this is a genuinely special campaign. While Marquez soars, the article points to wider paddock dynamics. Alex Marquez's surprise rise, Bagnaya's struggles to fully exploit the GP25, and the fact that Ducati's package has reshaped the competitive map. The maker's strength this year helps amplify Marquez's results, but the rider's adaptation remains the key variable. The gaps in form among other title contenders make Márquez's lead both a product of his excellence and the paddock's current balance. If the run continues, Márquez could clinch the 2025 title early. The piece flags Misano, mid-September, and an Indonesian date in October as possible moments for mathematical coronation. Securing a 7th Premier Class crown would move him level with Valentino Rossi's record and stamp this season as one for the history books. The notion of Márquez reaching Rossi's tally, and doing so atop a Ducati, possibly at iconic venues, gives the season a narrative weight beyond simple statistics. Beyond trophies and records, the story is about legacy. A rider who once dominated on one machine has reinvented himself on another, overcoming injury and age to re-establish himself at the very top. That arc, resilience, adaptation, renewed supremacy, is what turns a great campaign into a potentially historic one. If Márquez keeps this level, 2025 will be remembered not just for wins, but for a redefinition of his place among MotoGP's all-time greats. Marc Márquez's 2025 season reads like a new chapter in an already legendary career. Dominance on a different machine, an assured maturity in his riding, and a points tally that makes comparisons to the sport's finest inevitable. Whether he matches Rossi's 7 Premier crowns or simply cements this year as one of the modern era's great solo performances, Márquez has already produced a campaign that will be debated and celebrated for years to come. Brno was Martin's first full GP back. Austria will be his second. Rather than rush, he's focused on progressive improvement, finishing races, regaining confidence, and translating test miles into race pace. I worked hard this summer, and I think I'm even more prepared than I was in Brno. That measured outlook aims to keep expectations realistic while allowing Martin's form to return naturally. Martin described an intense off-season program aimed at physical readiness and adapting his riding to the RSGP's characteristics. He believes the extra work will help him extract more from the bike over race distance. He's focused on continuing to improve with the team and getting to know the machine better. Improved conditioning plus seat time are the two levers he's using to close the gap to the sharp end. The Red Bull Ring stop-start layout rewards strong drive out of corners and clean throttle application. Martin says he's been working on smoother exits, a change that helped him at Brno, and expects Austria's hard braking zones to require similar discipline. If Martin nails tire management and exit traction, the RSGP's strengths could put him in play for top finishes. Marco Bezzecchi's recent form gives Aprilia a dependable reference. Martin says he wants to catch up to Bezzecchi's pace and see the team continue its upward trend. He admires Bezzecchi's consistency and wants to close that gap while building confidence. Having a fast teammate both helps and pressures a returning champion, an engine for faster progress if harnessed correctly. Martin isn't promising miracles but has circled a few rounds where he believes podiums are realistic. Austria is another opportunity to collect data and keep momentum heading into the season's final months. This pragmatic approach, short-term consolidation, medium-term podium hunting, aims to set Martin up for a stronger 2026. Jorge Martin arrives at the Red Bull Ring fitter, wiser and quietly optimistic. Brno proved the first step. Austria will test whether the summer work has translated into a sharper, more durable race package. If Martin continues to grow lap by lap, the Aprilia could soon see its returning champion back among the podium contenders. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!